attention, please. I am a relative of all of you. And I so too is going through the same thing. I had a niece that was murdered through domestic abuse. I have a granddaughter amongst all granddaughters that are going through domestic abuse. Today, I am asking all reservations to come together and get Deb Holland, Craig Peterman, Attorney General, Brandon Johnson, to address these issues on the Straight Lakota Nation Pine Ridge Reservation. I request their presence to investigate all these murders of the missing, murdered, and women. And I ask all reservations to come together. Ulakotapi, Untoti Jashni, Lalawa Kaja ki Ushikapi, and Githopi. Oyate ki Ushiki Chalora Oki Chok the Hechaelo. Homiti Dakia. Lakota we took Anki Wagu Saka the Hewaki. Wet in the law. Wachewaki. I ask the Creator to look down and help our people. We shouldn't lose no more. Hear me, my relatives, and forgive me for speaking out. And my heart goes out to the family. And I thank you all for hearing me. My sadness is too much. Thank you. Thank you.
Alrighty. Mutakia pi Chante Washtea Nape Chuzape. I am Representative Puri Puyer. I represent the District of 27 in the South Dakota House of Representatives in the Legislature of South Dakota. I want to thank you to this community, to the friends and family, for being here today in this important day. I want to thank the members of our media here today for covering the story. We are going to share an incredibly heartbreaking story. We're here to support families. Ashton Provost was a daughter. She was a mother. We will hear from her family shortly, and we'll hear from other governmental officials as well. Here are the facts leading up to this gathering. A homicide suspect, Mackenzie Bigcrow, was arrested and charged with second-degree homicide, an aggravated weapons charge. He was arrested at the scene of the crime on August 20th, 2024. Ashton Provost was killed 19 days after her 19th birthday. She was a mother of a 2-year-old, now 3-year-old, and she was also carrying a baby that was 5 months, fully developed. A few days after the arrest, the justice system released Mackenzie Bigcrow without notification of the victim's family. The victim's family has received death threats, threats of serious bodily harm, in an effort to intimidate and suppress justice for Ashton Provost. The weight of this problem is not just we're not trying hard enough. The weight of this problem is heavy, and it's only on a few criminal justice professionals who are over-exacerbated, overworked, overwhelmed with the demands placed on them. Only adequate resources can fix this. Resources that ensure law enforcement has what they need to enforce and uphold the rule of law. This is not an isolated incident. This is not an isolated problem. This is a systemic issue. There's been a long string of unsolved murders on the Pine Ridge Indian Reservation, other reservations, and tribal and Indian country nationwide. On March 20th, 2024, the Chief of Police pulled the following data. In 2022, there were 19 homicides. In 2023, there was 9 homicides. There were 589 gun-related calls. There were 1,133 assault calls, 1,245 domestic abuse calls. There were 501 calls to our schools. In 2023, the Oglala Sioux Department of Public Safety received a total of 165,799 calls into dispatch. Compare this to a sizable town. Census data puts our reservation at 20,000 people. Compare this to the town of Watertown, East River. They are, just the town alone is around 22,000 residents. The Watertown Regional Center, the 911 call center, covers 6 counties. And in 2022, they only received 49,000 calls for service. What does that say? That says that the Pine Ridge Indian Reservation has triple the amount of a town in South Dakota with comparable population. Triple. They have more resources. They have more staff. They have a state-of-the-art 911 system. I call on the U.S. Attorney General and the U.S. Department of Justice for a complete and swift action on this case. I call them to find the fullest extent of the power of the law to bring justice in Pine Ridge, on the reservation, and across Indian country. I call on our U.S. congressional delegates. I call on President Biden. I call on him to push criminal justice reforms in Indian country. I call them to look at how they understand their trust responsibility to Indian country. They created this criminal justice system for Indian country. They created them to force Indian country to act like a federal government. They force them to act and uphold federal statutes, but fail to adequately fund. The federal government often gaslights Indian country without fully understanding what it means to be Lakota in the United States, without fully understanding what it is to be Native in the United States. I call on the Oglala Sioux Tribe Law and Order Committee to do an internal audit of policies and procedures and how they apply those policies into practice. I call on them to ensure full transparency of public records in criminal and civil courts. I call on them to take meaningful steps to ensure and fulfill victims' rights, public transparency, and to address conflict of interest policies. Public safety is the foundation of any society. We cannot grow a prosperous nation without being safe. Our children cannot learn in schools without being safe. We cannot ensure that our children have bright and shiny futures without feeling safe. The most vulnerable among us is the pregnant mother. And if she does not feel safe and is not safe, then none of us is safe. This is not just a tribal issue. We cannot fulfill our responsibilities or realize full citizenship of the United States without having the right to be safe in our own homes and communities. In the coming days, I will be announcing a criminal justice reform initiative. I will begin to organize an independent task force for tribal nations in criminal justice. This task force will be housed in an independent institution comprised of an interdisciplinary group of experts of criminal justice in Indian country. We will include stakeholders across tribal, national, state, jurisdictions. We will include non-governmental entities, government institutions, nonprofit and private organizations to conduct a comprehensive study analysis to identify policies and practices for tribal nation justice systems who operate with these unique challenges. This task force will also look into additional funding, revenue generating structures to help complement federal funding after Mackenzie Big Crow was arrested. A few days after he was released, there was no notification to the victims' families. The victim families sought repeatedly answers from every criminal justice system they could contact. The Attorney General's office, FBI, tribal court, public safety. They were met. Until recently, they were met with disdainment, apathy, and a general non-concern. When the mother went to get justice for her child, no family deserves to lose their daughter this way. No child deserves to lose their mother this way. I call on every leader to take ownership and responsibility to move forward in a good way so we are not here again. Now please stand by for Lorelei Janice, the mother of Ashton Provost. My phone's in there. Let me get it out. Right now. Good morning, everyone. Can you all hear me? My name is Lorelei Janice, and I am the mother of Ashton Rain Provost. My 19-year-old daughter, while pregnant, was brutally murdered by her boyfriend. She was taken from Briella, my 3-year-old granddaughter. Her dad, myself, siblings, countless family members and friends. A lot of people loved her. They love her still and they miss her. And they miss her still. As a mother, my heart is broken. Every day I beg and I cry. I cry for my kid. I cry for my child.
My girl, she had such a beautiful heart and soul, and she had so much plans for herself and her daughter. I want answers. As a mother, I demand answers. It disheartens me that I have put trust in a system that I thought would adhere to the laws. Every single day that I passed, I myself as a mother felt like a failure to my daughter. But it was only because I was never reached out to by no entity. Nothing, not even for support in this matter. No information. Things that could put my mind and my family's minds at ease. I speak openly and freely and with regard that I am ashamed. I am ashamed to be from a tribe where the justice system has failed. My family, countless other families, countless women, my daughter, my unborn grandchild. How is any one person more important than the other? My daughter and unborn grandchild's death felt like it was swept under the rug and disregarded. So I asked myself and I questioned, do lives matter? Do any lives matter? And if they do, tell me what lives. Tell me whose lives matter. I don't ever and would never, ever in my life wish this upon anyone, to lose a child. This pain, this grief, the despair, the hurt that comes with it. I ask all of you, put yourselves in my shoes for a minute. How would you feel and what would you do? I just want justice for my kid. Thank you. Okay, hold on, what?
Good morning. My name is Allison Morset, and I am the Missing and Murdered Indigenous Persons Coordinator for the state of South Dakota. I'm here in hopes we can all come together and help ensure that another family doesn't have to go through what Ashton's family had to go through. The miscommunication from the court system to the family is unacceptable. Ashton's family is in mourning. They should not have to go searching for updates and answers on this case. Working within law enforcement in the prosecution's office, they dropped the ball for Ashton's family. I'm here today in an observational capacity only to ensure the best interest of criminal justice. My condolences to Casey and Lorelei on the loss of their daughter and all of you guys that are here today. Being an enrolled member and having family down here, working at the state level, my job is to ensure that you guys don't have to go searching for answers. I'm here as a liaison for families to law enforcement. Even though I am at a state level, I do work with federal and tribal prosecution offices. If I don't have the answers for you guys, I can point you in the right direction of who can answer those questions for you and who should answer those questions for you. So if any of you guys ever have any questions regarding MMIP issues, or if you have a loved one who is missing, no matter what jurisdiction it is, please reach out to me on Facebook. I'll give you guys my cell phone number, business card. I answer my phone 24/7. You could call me at 3 a.m. if your loved one is missing or was murdered and you don't know who to contact. Please reach out to me. That's what I'm here for. That's my job. You guys should never have to go searching for answers, and you should not have to get the runaround within the prosecution system. So again, my heart goes out to you guys, and I'm here in hopes that we can all come together so that way another family doesn't have to go through what Ashton's family had to go through. Thank you.
Do I help what?
You can just hold it.
Okay, yeah.
Just hold it on this side like this, and that'll be totally fine.
Like this?
You can just hold it down here. Yeah,
Okay.
that's totally fine.
Thank you. Norma Rendon Machiapi, La Cole Chiapi, Wachiampi we. And first, I want to give my condolences to my relatives. I can't imagine their pain and their sorrow that they will carry for the rest of their lives. Every time they look at little Takoja, they probably cry inside because her mother was a good mama. She was a good relative to all of us. So I want to give you my condolences. And I'm sorry that I didn't reach out to you sooner. So I apologize for that. But I just want to talk to everybody that's here today. I'm angry. How many of you are angry? And I'm tired of this. I'm tired of this happening to our women. The United States government declared war on Native women centuries ago, and it exists today, and it shows by there not being a grand jury on this way back in August or no later than September. There should have been a grand jury hearing, and I've heard, I know you think I haven't supported, but I've asked questions to this Justice Center, to the state's attorney's office. Why isn't there a grand jury hearing? Why isn't he in federal prison by now? But you know what? It's not just the federal government that declared war on us. The state of South Dakota does not care about our people. They don't. They still have legislation, and I encourage you all to watch legislation next go around. There is still legislation that supports sexual predators having equal access to their children. Sexual assault on this reservation is astronomically high. But you look at the state report, and it shows 0 sexual assaults on the Pine Ridge Indian Reservation for last year. In 1999, Washington Post and New York Times came down to interview myself and Greg Peterman because we had the highest rate of rape than any other county in the nation. And nothing was done about it. We had almost a 0 prosecution rate for Native women and over a 90% declination rate. They declined most of our cases. But when we turn in a statistic that says 0 sexual assaults, that's sending a message to them that we don't care. We don't care about our people. We don't care about our women. And I want to say that today, I neglected to say I work for where all women are honored. Wichayu Oniha Oyanke. I've been in this field for 40 years. And our sexual assaults outlead anywhere else in the nation. That's Chicago, New York, Los Angeles. The gentleman that spoke, my brother, he's gone now. He left because he couldn't handle the pain. We have to be tired of this. And how we can fight it, state maybe, federal, we definitely have to continue to fight through legislation. But we have programs that can do that. But where we need to start as a nation is right here in this courthouse. How long have we went without an attorney general? We have 2 council representatives here, and I'm thankful for them. But every one of our council reps should be out here. They should be as disgusted about this as we are. I'm tired of responding to domestic violence calls, sexual assault calls, and our men's numbers are increasing daily. So you watch your young boys. And it's a shame that we have to live like that. You know, we were powwow people. I could go to a powwow, let my kids run all over. Now we go to a powwow, I tell Takojas, you sit right here now. If you're going to go to the bathroom, somebody go with you. Why do we have to live like that? And the racism in Rapid City is so high, it's so intense against us. And we need to combat that too, because it's institutional racism that lets our people be missing and murdered. We should have this month, in May, is a MMIW event, or MMIP, because we have a lot of men and young boys that are missing, that are abducted, that are trafficked. And if, you know, Toshka said a prayer for our people in the very beginning, for those ones that are captured today, right now. They're captured, and I've seen the horrible things, the aftermath of the horrible things that are done to them, the inhumane things that are done to our relatives. So when I say the United States government declared war on us in the 1700s, it's happening still today. Clear up to 1977, they were sterilizing our women, our Native women, from here, from this county, without their consent or knowledge. That's genocide. What are they doing today that we don't know about besides this?
To me, the hearing's going to start.
Okay, so the hearing's going to start, but I want to thank all of you for coming. And I pray that when we have meetings, I know Thunder Valley is going to have some events happening, that all of us come and support those events, that we have the news here. But I want to say that we need, I tried to get training with public safety here. We're free, but no training for public safety. They're not responding to domestic violence calls, and they're responding but saying that charging the person with aggravated assault or simple assault. It's a domestic violence. Had we stopped the domestic violence with Ashton from the very beginning and charged him and sent him to court, ordered him to treatment, this may not have happened. So I think we need to look at our own legislation and go a step further than just being arrested. And if they were intoxicated, they need to go to treatment. We've got to do something to help our people. And we need an attorney general. Wopila Chichiapi.